on YouTube. Sitting in my '03 Altima 3.5. It's a 5-speed. What happened was my clutch wasn't working. Like as soon as I depress it, it won't come back up and it won't engage into gear. So I thought that the fluid went dry. So I went to the reservoir. I checked it. I usually check it every 2 weeks or so just to see if the fluid's right or not. But kind of like I wanted to check it. So when I went to go check it, it was still full. So my second guess was maybe it's the slave cylinder, maybe it got torn. So I started looking at the slave cylinder. The slave cylinder looked okay. Um, I had my brother pushing the clutch, and then it was moving a little bit, very slightly. So my guess was, okay, there's no fluid, there's not enough pressurized fluid pushing through it. So what I did was I just replaced the slave cylinder just to see if it wasn't, if it wasn't that. No, it's just to see if it was that. So I went ahead and I replaced the slave cylinder, bled the fluid, still had the same problem. So then I started moving the fork that engages the flywheel and the clutch. The fork wasn't moving, so I knew that it was good because the fork is not supposed to move. Because the fork, what it does, it moves the pressure plate, so there's a lot. It's supposed to be very tight. So I knew that it was probably the master cylinder. So right now I'm working on the master cylinder. I didn't replace it yet, but I removed it, which I'll show you in a bit. I removed it and I started manually pushing it, and there was no fluid coming out whatsoever. And mind you that the reservoir is still connected with fluid still in there. So every time I pushed it, no fluid was coming out. So that's how I know that it's the master cylinder. That's the problem. So what I did here was I removed this right here. This goes in front of the engine bay. I removed my strut bar because that's in the way of the reservoir. And let me come out here. So what I did was, as you can see, there's no brake master, and there's the clutch master location. So with the clutch master, if you have a 5-speed Altima or an SER, 6-speed SER Altima, the reservoir sits right here, which I'll show you. This one plugs in, the hard line goes into here. So whenever you just push this, there's fluid in here. There's fluid in here. So I'll start pushing it. See, barely any fluid. And I'm pushing it all the way. No fluid whatsoever. And it's like tilted and there's like liquid in there. So it's not pushing anything out. So this is a really time-consuming job to do. But if I could do it, you can do it. I'll show you the steps how to do it. So, okay. So now we're under the car, and here's the clutch pedal assembly. So as you can see, where I was pushing with my finger, that thing, it was connected right here. You see this hole right here? It's connected right here with the slider pin like this. So the slider pin goes right through that hole, and it's connected by this little clip right here. So I removed that, and that loosened up that little fork. And then there's going to be two 12mm bolts. So one right there, one right there, right on the top of it, right there, where my finger's pointing. And one right there. You can see it right there. Right there. That's the hole for the other 12. So I took that out. I just loosened that up first, and then to get there is like a really difficult place to get to. So what you have to do is you have to move the brake master cylinder also. So just like the clutch master cylinder, this also has a slider pin right here. So it goes in through here. I'll show you. It goes in. Okay, this is the slider. Goes in right there. And then this is for the brake. Okay, this is this is the same thing. So there's a little slider pin goes through there, and on top of that, this white little cap goes on top of the brake one. The clutch doesn't have it, but for the brake it does. It's just an extra safety feature. So make sure you don't throw this out, and make sure it just pops right off of the flathead. So you do that, and then this releases the fork also for the brake master. Okay, so you get that, and as you can see, these are the 4 bolts. I just keep everything in where it was, just in organized fashion. So keep everything over here, and these are the 4 12 millimeters that were holding the brake master in place. Okay, you can see 1 up there where the light's shining through, 2, 3 where the light's shining, and then 4. So those 4 hold it in place. So make sure you take out the little slider and you take out those 4 bolts, and it'll free up from the back side. And then there's like a little boot, I'll show you in a bit. So now you got these 2 loosened up back here. Oh, and for the brake master cylinder, you'll just need an extended 12 mil, because a regular 12 mil will not fit over the long studs. You'll need an extended one. So bring it over here. So right here, all you gotta do is just pull it out just ever so slightly, and you can have somewhere behind there just push it with you so you can get a little bit more leverage. And okay, so this is the difficult part. Now you can see all these hard lines. All of these hard lines connect to the slave and master cylinder of the brake, of the brake master and slave cylinder. So you can see one down there, one right here. Now as you can see, whenever you loosen them, you see they slide back and forth. So before you put them in there, you gotta plug it in like that, and then it just, you see how it just pushes like that. So just like that. You gotta push it in first, plug it in, and then this just slides right down, and then you just tighten it, hand tighten first. These are a 10 mil spanner. If I can find it, well. Now you want to be very, very careful with this. You want to have it on there very tightly, because you don't want to strip any of these. So you want to have it on there very tightly, and then just, turn whichever way. Now a good feature, like a good little tip, is if you're not sure which way to turn, make sure you have one of these ratchets. I just always do it just to be, just to be safe. Now you see how it says off, so it's gonna be lefty loosey. So you can see you gotta turn left to turn loose. That'll give you a nice little guide to turn this left to loosen it up. Now if it's facing the other way, you gotta turn it to the right when you're looking at it. So to the right, so you don't want to get these mixed up. So this is a good little thing, a little tip to do just before you loosen these things. You don't want to just tighten it the wrong way, or you'll think that you're loosening it, but you're actually tightening it, and that's what will strip it. So this is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 lines, 4 hard lines, and this little wire right here connects to the side of the slave cylinder, of the brake slave cylinder. This shows whenever your brake fluid's low, is just a little sensor. So once these 4 are disconnected, it'll just pull out. But what I did right here, I just removed my air intake. As you can see, unplugged the mass airflow sensor, and this right here, this little thick wire, bundled up of wire, this gets clipped in right there. So what I did was, there's a little tab right here, you push that down with the flathead, and it unclips from that little clip right there, and you can just pull this out. This gives you a little bit more room for it to pull out. Now it would not pull out all the way, so this right here was connected like this. So just right here. And these are 12 millimeters right here. These two are 12s. And you can see where all the brake lines connect to. 1 hard line, 2 hard line, 3 hard line, and then 4 hard line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these, when you remove the 12, you have to do this because you'll have to turn this sideways, but then this will take up a lot of the space. So just remove this first. So you take that out, and then it's just left with this. There's gonna be a little hose right here. Just pry it off with, pliers, and then just wiggle it off. Just twist it back and forth, because you don't want to just pull it off and then the hose rips. You want to like crack it loose. And then, as you can see back here, you can see that little fork. That little fork had a slider pin through it, and these are what I'm talking about, the extended bolts. These had the 12 mils on there, so you need that deep socket, the 12 mil, just to remove this. So once you remove them two, it's gonna be down to this little tedious thing right here. This is all the way. I'm not gonna put this one in because this is the old one, but as you can see, it goes in through that hole over there. Goes into the hole. These studs go through there, so you can screw it on in the back. And there's only 1 hard line connected to it. And like I said, they're the same thing as the brake lines. So this will come right off. I suggest when you remove the brake master cylinder, you keep this tightened on the back. Like, just keep it in there. You don't gotta keep the screws in there, the nuts. Just keep it like tight so you can have enough like leverage to just break it loose, and then you can just hand loosen it. I was trying to find a video on this on YouTube. Now, I always try my best to make a video just to help someone else out. Now, if this video helped you, please let me know, and just, give me a thumbs up or subscribe and share it with other people. Just let me know if I made a mistake anywhere. But so far, it's so good for me. Hope I give you guys a little guidance. Now, I was just pulling apart stuff, and because I just know this stuff. But I was looking through a book, and it only showed the 2001 Altimas and previous, so it didn't really show the 3.5s how to do it. It might be different for a Maxima, but for the Altimas it's like this, because the Altimas has a separate reservoir, the 3.5 Altimas. The Maximas, they have the reservoir already on the master cylinder. So that's all one piece. This is just an extended piece. That's why it's a little bit different. But it should be the same for any Nissan, 3.5 Nissan. Just let me know if you guys need any help down the line. But just if you guys want an update video, just let me know and I'll make it for you. Thank you.